Welcome back. The ANC says it's backing a proposal by those who are calling for more powers to be given to the Electricity Minister, Nontsietso Ramokgopa, appointed, of course, to that position by President Cyril Ramaphosa earlier this year to deal with the power crisis. At the same time, he said yesterday that more units will be coming back onto the grid. These are more Eskom units. Professor Sampson Mamphweli is the head of the SA National Energy Development Institute, SANEDI. Professor Mamphweli, good evening to you. Thank you for your time once again on the Pulse. It's been a while. We understand 5 units are coming back. Are these going to make a big difference to the grid, considering where it is at the moment? We're back tonight in stage 3.
Good evening, Stephen and the viewers. That's a difficult one to conclude because we're dealing with a very vulnerable system. So ideally, with the 5 units coming back online, we should have lower stages of load shedding. Yesterday, we saw the load shedding reduced to stage 2 load shedding. But the biggest challenge that we've had, and I've been tracking the Eskom performance for the past 3 weeks, the biggest problem has been the fact that we're dealing with the old fleet that has not been properly maintained. This is the story that we've been running with for quite a long time. And what happens is that the maintenance that is taking place at the moment is not necessarily reliability maintenance. What was supposed to have happened is that the coal fleet, the 6 power stations that are giving problems, were supposed to have been shut down, renewed like what they did with the Kubek 1 unit, and then brought back to life. That would have been a proper reliability maintenance. That's exactly what they need at the moment. So it's difficult to say that because we're getting these units back online, we will have lower stages of load shedding. The unplanned capacity loss factor is still very high. From the last time I checked, it was about 17,000 megawatts. That's quite big. And some of it is contributed by the partial load losses, which basically means that even when the system is operating, it's not operating at full capacity. That's one of the biggest problems, and it's associated with the age of the coal fleet, as well as the fact that it was not properly maintained in the past. We need new generation capacity online as quickly as possible.
The Electricity Minister, he says he wants more powers. Professor, I'm sure you're very aware of the politics of all of this. Gwede Mantashe is, of course, the current Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, also chair of the ANC. So politically, an Electricity Minister may want more powers. But Gwede Mantashe is a tough political nut to crack. Prof Gordon, Minister of Public Enterprise, is also a very experienced, very tough politician. Technically speaking, does Ramokgopa need more powers?
Technically speaking, there are few powers not on the side of what Minister Mantashe is doing. Because on that side, he has already gotten powers. He has got the powers to do ministerial determination up until he gets concurrence with NERSA, and then pass over only the procurement part to Minister Mantashe, who is the custodian of the IRP, for him to do the procurement in line with the provisions of the IRP. So that part has been dealt with, and there were negotiations between Minister Mantashe and the President and the Minister of Electricity for them to get to that level. On the side of Eskom, in terms of the oversight role that Minister Godani is playing, there is a window of opportunity for some powers to be ceded to Minister Ramokgopa, because Minister Ramokgopa is overseeing the implementation of the Energy Action Plan. And part of it, the major part of it, is to basically fix the Eskom fleet and to fix the power system at Eskom. And for him to do that effectively, he needs to be able to play an oversight role at Eskom, which is currently sitting with Minister Pravin Gordhan. So they need to have some negotiations around that in terms of ceding part of the powers, especially on the political oversight side of things. Because what we have seen now is that Minister Gordhan has allowed Minister Ramokgopa to basically take over Eskom in terms of the operations, in terms of giving those weekly updates on what is happening at Eskom. That is basically part of the powers that are supposed to sit with Minister Gordhan. And so far, they've done it seamlessly without giving any problems. But if we have to look at the legislative prescripts, the Constitution, and the Companies Act, and all that, we may be found wanting in terms of what is happening at the moment. So that needs to be properly done through the presidential determination and the signing off of those powers to Minister Mamphweli. So that's the area where there's a window of opportunity for him to get additional powers, in my view.
Professor, I suppose this goes to another question, really, about whether we need to reconfigure cabinet permanently. I mean, the fact that it's a minister in the presidency really suggested that it was not going to be a sort of permanent position. But now, if we get more power, if it looks like the Minister for Public Enterprises, that ministry may disappear after next year's election, or that was the sort of speculation or the ANC decision. Do we need, in your view, a permanent Minister for Electricity?
Yeah, we do need a permanent Minister of Electricity with a clearly defined role. As things stand, there's a role that has been clearly defined in terms of the procurement of new generation capacity, as I explained. There is no clear role in terms of the political oversight on the side of Eskom. So if that is properly and clearly defined, then we can do with the Minister of Electricity on a permanent basis, and entities such as Eskom can then be moved to that particular ministry, and other entities that are under the Department of Public Enterprises can still remain within public enterprises. The biggest reason why the president had to come up with this kind of a ministry is basically because the problem that we're dealing with is so massive at this one SOE. And the other ministers have got so many other SOEs. If you look at Minister Mantashe, he's got so many SOEs that are reporting to him. You look at Pravin Gordhan, he's got so many SOEs that are reporting to him. So for the president to decide to say, I need someone who will work on a full-time basis to try and resolve this particular challenge. It was because basically the other two ministries, their hands were full, even though they were trying their best to try and resolve the problem. They still work closely hand in hand. You'll recall that once the Minister of Electricity has done his ministerial determination and the Minister of Mineral Resources has procured the new generation capacity, it is still upon the Minister of Electricity to track that new generation capacity and look at what impact will this new generation capacity have, when is it going to come live, and what impact will it have on the grid. Will we need additional generation capacity from what source on the mid-term to long-term basis? So there is still a need, in my view, for that particular ministry going forward.
Professor Sampson Mamphweli, thank you, head of the SA National Energy Development Institute. Really do appreciate the time.